wonder if we could take another offering. But it's not one that's talking about money, but I wonder if we could just take 2 minutes. This is our first youth service of the year. And I told you I don't want to get stale. I don't want to just get into the groove of things. But I wonder if we could have a 2-minute worship offering in whatever way you see fit. Just whatever God has done for you, whatever He's given you, whatever blessings He's already answered, the prayers He's already answered. God, we thank you for what you're doing. We thank you for what you've done, God. I feel like God's got something in store for tonight. I'm excited to be here. Youth service, the first of many, the first of a lot of great things that are going to happen this year. I know we've already had some service this year, but I'm talking about youth tonight. Youth service, we say that term, and perhaps there's some that aren't here because like, well, I'm not really a young person, but I have a more broad scope for youth service. I feel like youth service is for those that are in the youth group, those that will be in the youth group, those that have been in the youth group, or those that have kids that will be in the youth group. That's who I feel is for youth service, because I got to be honest, we have a lot of preachers, they don't know who's going to be here. I don't know who's going to be here, and so whatever comes, it's not like, well, you know what, Emily, you're going to enjoy this. I don't base my message on you. Honestly, I don't know where my message is. I get up here and I'm like, that is not here. I did not write that down. So I want to encourage you to continue coming, not because of me preaching or whoever is preaching, but come because just expecting God's going to do something in your life for that prayer that you've been praying, for that need that you have, that situation that you do need resolved. Because God, we know God has a sense of humor. He'll make you go dip in that river 7 times. I got to go to youth service 7 times? Just keep on coming. Keep on coming till it happens. Keep showing up till something happens. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to be reading from Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. I was kind of picking on Brother Jonathan Williams earlier because, you know, he picks on me. He called me the other day and was like, bro, something bad just happened. I need to talk to you. Can we meet at Taco Bell and just talk about it? I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. So yeah, me and Josh, we're going to meet you there. It's bad. I show up, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, nothing. Josh said we'd get you out that way and let's just go. We just want to eat Taco Bell. So I get to pick on him now. They got me. I told him he betrayed that trust. I said, next time, I'm really in a bind. I really need someone to talk to. Nope. Call somebody else. I'd still go because Josh paid for my food, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did. If not, he'll owe me now because I already said he did, so now you owe me. Amen. Matthew chapter 5. I've got so many directions and scrambling in my mind, so many things I wanted to say. One of them being I want to say thank you again. It's been a few months since Wyatt was in the hospital. And he's not sick again, don't worry about that. But he woke up this morning with a handkerchief that one of the churches had prayed over, and he just, I guess it's been a while since I've been up here. He woke up and when we went in his room, he had that handkerchief in his hand. And it was like, oh, you found we left it in his room, it was for him. And so we left it in his room. And he woke up and grabbed that prayer cloth that they had prayed over. Some of you had prayed over. And I just thought, you know what, that's an awesome church family that he still has that. He woke up. He didn't even know what it was, but he was holding on tight to it. And so I just thank you for your love, your support, not just in youth service, but for my family, but every service. Matthew 5, we're talking about the Beatitudes and some of these. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. I'm going to read one more verse in here over. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Put your Bibles away and you can be seated for the next few moments. I want to talk to you on the I will mentality. I will. It's not something that's just amazing. It's not something that's you're going to see on a billboard somewhere, but it's just a thought, the mental note that we can have of I will. In Joshua 24:15, it says, And if it seems evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your fathers served that were on the other side of the floods, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. There's a will there. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you don't have a will, then you're not. Without the will, you will not. If you don't have the will to survive, you will not. Speaking of the will to survive, it starts with your mind. Did you know that? Some of you, most of you are, I'm not going to say most, you are smarter than me, all of you. So there's actually, and I read this article. Now I know you can read 100 articles and 99 of them aren't true. Maybe it's just interesting. But this article I was reading was talking about, and it makes sense how, the will to do something or not to do something or being able to starts in your mind. If you think, you know what, there's no way I can move something, you can't. If you think, oh, there's a way I can do this. It might not be blunt force, but there is a way I can do this, you can. If you think, man, I don't feel really good, you're going to find something wrong that makes I really don't feel good. But if you think, you know what, man, I feel really great. I think I can do this. I'm embracing this day. Then you can. You're going to do that. You're going to feel good. It's there, and there. It's not just. It is. There's a. They have all these cool pictures of all the cells and all the things doing things that they can show you to show scientifically where they're showing there is a connection there. Where it's your mind. If you want to be sad in your mind wants you, then you're going to be sad. If you want to, whatever it is, it starts in your mind. It's a mental thing. If you don't have the I will, then you won't. And if you don't have the will to survive, you will not. And speaking of the will to survive, I went to the ranch the other day. Okay, now I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to hear a lot about cows tonight. That's been my life for the past month, is just cows. Cows at my home, cows at the ranch, cows for Christmas. You know what I did? I picked up a down cow, brought it with me to Lufkin in a trailer, and I fed it and lifted it up every day. And it's still at my house now, even here. Brought it back to Nederland. I've got it in my backyard, and I'm lifting it up. I've got it tied up in my kid's swing set, and I'm lifting it up every day, letting it stretch its legs and feeding it. I'm not lying. I've got pictures. It's really humorous. If you live in Nederland, you hear something mooing, you're not losing your mind. It's in my backyard. It's there. It's there. Love my life. It's fun. But, oh goodness, if you could see it. I didn't put the picture up there. It's great. Paisley's like, you did not. I had no options. My hands were tied. And I knew I will get this cow up. And I did. But anyways, so you know what? I went one day to the ranch, and I can't remember what the reasoning was. I was already going there perhaps for Thanksgiving or something, whatever the situation was. And I went there, and it was by myself. And so I went there, and I go to put hay out, and I put all this hay out in the last field. And I feel good. When you go in there in the winter, there's a lot of reasons cows can go down. Sometimes they just go down, it gets cold, their bones get stuck, and they just don't want to get back up. Their legs need circulation, all this. Sometimes they get back up, but sometimes they sit down for so long trying to stay warm that they don't get back up until you have to go and you put them in this whole complicated sling and all these straps and cords and all this stuff, hook them to a tractor or something and lift them up if you have that. If you don't have that, you can use a swing set. So so I'm there at the ranch, and I go and there's 2 cows down. Okay, this is the last field. I've got to put 2 bales of hay in this field, and then I get to go home. Okay, I'm done here. And it's the very last pasture I pull up in, and there are 2 cows sitting down. Correction, one of them is sitting down, one of them is laying down in front of where I'm supposed to put the hay at. And it's like one of those moments, it's like, man, we almost made it. We were so close, So I wasn't excited to see them down. Not that you ever are excited to see them down, but I really wasn't, okay, because it was just me. And so I'm like, okay, so I go over there, and both of them were down, but there was one that was, she had fought so hard to get back up. She had fought so hard to get, and it was muddy. It was after that. It rained, I don't know how long, but after that heavy rain. And so one of them had basically dug a cow angel. You know what a cow angel is? Kind of like a snow angel, but it's what a cow makes, And so this cow had dug I made that up actually too, so I'm sure you knew that. But so this one cow had dug that back and forth so much that it had dug itself into a deeper hole, that when I found it, its head was submerged in mud. And I'm thinking, this cow's dead. There's no way. And so I walk up to it, and it's just kind of slightly breathing, and I'm like, okay, I don't think this cow's going to survive. I don't think this one's going to make it. Its head was submerged in mud. I think I've told some of y'all about it. It was like it. So I lifted it up, and I set it down, got it set on its belly and stuff, and at least sitting up, and it just looks pitiful. Eyes are rolled in the back of the head. It's got mud from all running down its face, and it's a graphic image. It's not really fun. It's not the way you see cows, in the books and pictures and stuff. They don't all look so pretty all the time. And so then, but the other one was sitting up on its belly, just there, hadn't kicked, hadn't fought, hadn't done anything, just kind of sitting there. And so I'm like, well, honestly, I didn't think the first one was going to live. I saw no reason. I mean, it looked in worse shape than the other one. I mean, the other one looked good. It was sitting up. I'm like, all you got to do, it looked like you just had to lift it up, it'd stretch its legs, and it would walk away. But this one, you knew something was going to happen. This one has some problems. It was on its side, had fought and fought and fought till it had nothing left and made itself into an even worse situation. And I was pretty sure that she was dead. I mean, she was stuck on her side. She had kicked so much and put so much fight around that she dug a hole around her. But within a few days, you know what she was doing? 2 days later, she's up and eating hay. Blew my mind too. I'm shocked. And the bad thing is not anything I did. I really don't know why she got up. But she had made up in her mind apparently, and so she got up, and within 2 days she came and she was eating hay. And she was weak. She got up and she was walking, and she walked. The first thing she did when she got on her feet was she walked to one of the big hay bales and started eating. Okay? I do have a point, but you got to deal with a lot more cattle stories. So if you're tired of it, just tune out. Give me about 3 to 10 minutes. Come back in, and we'll close it out. Just kidding. Don't go anywhere. You'll miss the exciting stuff. But then then I go to get the other one. So obviously between this one being down and getting back up, it's kind of the same scenario. I'm just telling 2 different stories, kind of in a separate part. But the other one, so the one that was really good and really healthy and clean and wasn't dirty, hadn't put up a fight to do all this stuff, Same thing. I do the exact same thing with this cow as I did the other one. I hook it up with the exact same machine, with the exact same little concoction with all the straps and all the stuff and everything to lift it up safely. I lift it up with a tractor. I drag it the same way I drug the other one. And by dragging, I mean lifting it up, not actually dragging it. I lift it up the tractor and ride it over there and set it down safely, comfortably, where it's feels no pain. Just anybody needs to know that. So I set it down there. I give it the same feed. I give it the same water as I gave the other cow. And so, and they're both, now I'm sitting there and I've got 2 cows, and I called Nathan and we have 2 cows down. He's like, you sure they're alive? I wanted to say no, but yes. Like, yeah, they're alive. Whatever it was. Like, well, so then I call my dad, and said, well, let me send a vet out there. So a vet comes out there, and he gives these cows a shot. Okay, they're both somewhat young, 500 pounds. So he gives both of them a shot, and some vitamin stuff. I give them both cattle cubes. I give them both hay, and I give them both water. And she was only, when I found her, she was only 6 feet away from the other one that had gotten down. Except she wasn't in mud, and she wasn't on her side. She wasn't dirty. She wasn't in a hole. She was just sitting up straight. But you know where she was within 2 days? She was in the boneyard. She died. She was in so much better health and better shape than the one that had fought and gave it all that she had to survive. And if you had looked at it, she does not look like what she did. Okay? But she gave it all that she had because she had a will to survive. Meanwhile, we're in there, I'm in there with the barn the day after the vet gave him a shot, and I'm in there with them, and I go and I lift them both up. Okay, and I get them on their feet, and one of them kind of gets on her feet, and the one that lived, she got up and she stepped up and she started walking around, and she went to the hay. Okay, the other one did get up. Now in this barn, if I can paint a portrait for you, we have a big trailer right here, and then there's a wall that goes around the trailer. Behind this trailer is another trailer, which backs up to another wall, and beside that trailer is another trailer that backs up to a wall. Okay. You can't get behind those trailers. Well, the cow that didn't survive, when she got up to her feet, instead of going to water or hay, she decided that it was a great idea to go between the trailer and the wall. She's not a bright cow. Sometimes, I'm not going to say that. Sometimes things happen. But I'm sitting there, and so I'm sitting there because I am dumbfounded at this cow. I'm really upset. I can't go home until this cow is in a safe place and has food and water. And now I'm beyond upset because I had them both where they were good and they were walking. I'm thinking, this is great. I can leave and say they were up. And this unsmart cow walks to this wall and squeezes between the first trailer, squeezes between the second trailer, and then squeezes behind the third trailer. She's surrounded by 3 walls. I can't do anything with that. And she's stuck between a wall and a trailer. And so I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Okay? This is ridiculous. And I'm not in that, at the time, and so I go and I move the first trailer. And I go and I move the second trailer. Then I go and hook up and move the third trailer. And where she had sat down, she sat down in an ant pile. Some of you are looking like I was looking, and I'm just like, what do I do with this? So whatever, we go and I move her and set her up. Anyways, within a day, she died. She died. And one main way that I would relate to this is the first cow, when she got up to her feet, she was hungry. She was thirsty. And as the scripture said, blessed are they which hunger and thirst after righteousness. Because sometimes we're going to feel down. Let's just say, I'm not going to steal your message. Sometimes we're going to feel down, but sometimes we're going to have problems. We're going to have situations. We're going to have to get help getting on our feet. But when we get up that, if you are the one, you know what, even though I'm going through a tough time, I'm going through some issues, I'm going through some problems, when that time, if you're still you still hunger and thirst after righteousness, after what God wants for your life, when you get up to your feet, you don't go and get into a bigger problem in the middle of all these obstacles and jump into the middle of an ant pile because you want to live. You don't do that. When you want to live and you want to survive, when that opportunity comes and I've hungered and I've thirsted after righteousness, I want to go where I'm going to be fed. These cows were opposites, to say the least, in their mind. But in looking at them, the one that died should have been the one that lived. The one that died was in so much better shape, so much better health, and it was in a better environment that it should have lived. I can't tell you any other reason of why the other cow should live and one died, except one of them had the will to live. One of them had the will to walk again. And so when I saw those kick marks where she had just sat there and dug herself in the hole, what I saw was her just throwing a fit and just being stupid. Was actually her giving it everything she had, keeping blood flowing, keeping blood pumping through her body, trying to survive. So when someone does something, you say, I don't understand what they're doing. I can't believe somebody would go to church and worship like that. I can't believe somebody would go and do what they're doing. Maybe they found themselves in a situation where they're down, they're stuck, and they don't know what else to do except keep the blood flowing. There's situations that I need God to do in my life, and I don't know how else to get around it. And it might not look pretty to you, but I've got a will to survive. I've got a will to get through this. And so my worship might not be pretty to you, but I'm going to give it everything I have because I'm trying to get out of something. I'm trying to get out of where I am because I have a will to survive. Be seated. These cows were close in age. They were close in weight. They were from the same herd. They ate the same food. I moved them to the same barn. The vet gave them the same medicine. The only difference is one wanted to give up. One did not have that will. And we can relate that to us. I'm just going to say this, but sometimes the ones that look the best, that have it all together, sometimes don't have the same will as the ones who are struggling and look like what they're going through currently. But it's not about what you look like. It's about the will that you have and the faith that you have in your God that you serve, who have brought you out of whatever you've gone through before, and now you've come to a place that's something you haven't. And it's about how you come into that mindset where, you know what, one says, I can't get up from this, and one says, I don't know, but I'm going to give it everything that I have because I am going to get through this. I will get through this. We will make this happen. So the only difference is one had made up in her mind that she was going to make it. One had said in her mind that she was done. She had no strength. She had nothing left to give. While the other one that was worse off, that was in a mud hole, covered in mud with her head submerged, and she was so much worse off and should have been dead already. But she made up in her mind, I'm going to live, and she fought and gave it all she had because she had the will to live. She had the will to live. If you don't have the will, you won't. If you don't have the will to do something, you won't. If you don't have the will to be a soul winner, you won't. If you don't have the will to teach a Bible study, you won't. If you don't have the will to get up and go to church, you won't. And if you don't have the will to put up with all these things to go to heaven, you won't. It's just the truth of the matter is, regardless of the environment, regardless of if you sit in the front, you sit in the back, if you don't have the will, it doesn't matter how close to the altar you sit. Meanwhile, I've got another cow. I've given you 2 stories. Now we're to the one that's at my house. Dumb, dumber, and dumbest. I told you about the cow that died. I told you about the cow that lived. Now I'm going to tell you about the one that's walking the line between McDonald's and Burger King. And she's teeter-tottering depending on who you ask. I'm on day 12 of lifting this cow up. Today was day 12. I've lifted her up every day for 12 days. Him. I've lifted Paisley, remind me. Him. Paisley is named him Buddy. We've had him that long. Paisley has named him Buddy. And Buddy might be a good buddy, but he's not a good cow. He's at my house, but Buddy is in the process of making a decision where a lot of us might end up finding ourselves. A lot of people find themselves where maybe you're in between the cow that had the will to live and the cow that had the will to die, and you're just kind of in between, which is where Buddy is. You see, when I found Buddy, he wasn't sick. Okay, he wasn't, and I was also alone with Buddy when I found Buddy, because I went up there for Christmas and I said, I'll stop and put the hay out by myself. And I don't know, I got to stop going to that last pasture. Got to stop. Last pasture I'm going in, I didn't even put out cubes before I saw Buddy. I'm putting out cattle cubes. No, I'm putting out the hay. And I see something dark over here, and there's a washout. And I'm just, immediately, I knew I should not have looked in that direction. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. But I looked over there and I thought, oh no. Okay. And I knew one of these others that had, another one that we had survived, we just brought to Brother Lawrence's house. So we've got one that was up at the ranch that was down, one that's at Brother Lawrence's backyard that was down, that's up walking around. Now we got one at my house. So if any of you have a yard, call me. We're making reservations. So, yeah, there's that. But I go over there and I find Buddy in a situation not of his own doing, okay? Buddy is young. Buddy's 3 months old, okay? He's a 300-pound, 3-month-old cow. I never met a 300-pound, 3-month-old person that makes good decisions. So Buddy was in where the tree roots grow together and kind of form what I would paint as a spider web. And the dirt had all washed out. Well, somehow Buddy tried to cross those roots and got his back leg stuck in and under a root. And so it got it in a bad way. And his front legs, I guess while trying to walk and get away from that, fell down into the other roots. So Buddy has hurt pride. He's not sick. He doesn't have the diseases. He doesn't have anything wrong with him. He just had a hurt leg. So upon looking at him, I assumed he had broken his leg from the way that I had found him. And I go in there and I drag him up into the trailer the only way that I could. And I get him in the trailer and I take him to my in-laws' house, to their backyard on vacation. And I took him on his first vacation. And he spent that time in a cattle RV. And I feed him and give him water and all this stuff. And Buddy, he seems fine. He's healthy. He's fat. I mean, all these things. And so I bring him to the vet the next day, expecting him to say his leg's broken. And so the vet comes out and looks at him and says, well, nothing's broken. Okay. Well, all right. I said, well, what do I do? He said, well, I don't know. He's not dehydrated, so he's not thirsty. He's not malnourished, so he's not hungry. So he's been getting food, he's been getting water, and he has no broken bones. And so I said, what do I do? He said, well, I can't tell you how to work out. He said, but give him these 3 shots, give him one each day for 3 days. And so I did that, and I didn't kill him giving him the shot, so I didn't do that wrong. And so then he said, well, just give him this feed and give him this and give him a bottle. Back to giving bottles. So I give him bottles, and he would somewhat drink it and mostly spit it out and nudge you and do all this stuff. So that wasn't working too good. So then we leave to come home after Christmas and bring Buddy with me. Set him up in my backyard and where he has remained for the last 7 days. And in a trailer, he couldn't get out. So I go and I've made this concoction that looks like it was drawn up on a napkin, because it was. And I lift him up every day, And I lift him up in the mornings, and when I go out there in the mornings, Buddy's dead. I walk out there every morning. I walk out there and I look, I'm like, Buddy's dead. And then you see Buddy's alive. Every morning. That's my morning routine. Go out there. Tia's like, is the cow alive? Go out there. Buddy's dead. Buddy's alive. Okay. He's alive. And so I go and I get him food, I get him water, I stand him up, and I leave him there for most of the day, letting his legs get. And before I put him down, set him down at night, Buddy is healthy. He's looking good. He's kind of putting some kind of weight on his leg and stuff. And I'm like, this is great. I mean, it only took us a long way to get here, but he's getting somewhere. And I'm getting his food and I get his water and stuff. And I'll set him up. I'll put him down at night, and I set him up where he's sitting up straight instead of on his side. And I come out in the morning. Buddy's dead. Buddy had such an attitude problem that every night Buddy kicks over his water bowl, and he kicks over his food bowl, and he does this little, I can't tell you how he does it because I don't see, but I can only see what I can imagine. And Buddy on his side scoots enough close, now he can work his legs, and he scoots close enough to get his head wedged underneath the trailer gate most evenings. And so this is just Buddy's routine. And so then I'll go and I'll get up in the morning, I go out there, Buddy's dead, Buddy's alive, drag him back, feed him, water him, lift him up, set him down, set him up, go to bed, come out the next morning, Buddy's dead, Buddy's alive. You get the picture. I do this over and over and over again. Buddy cannot make up his mind. And I keep doing this, and I keep trying to give him, because the thing is, the vet gave him a clean bill of health. He's healthy. He's fed. He's been given water. He has no bones. They say lift him up a couple times a day. I'm lifting him up. He's getting attention. No cow has ever received a bath by the McCoy family except Buddy. Buddy has been given a bath in my backyard. Okay, Buddy is eating at a buffet. He is in a sling with an ice chest holding hay and cattle feed and cattle cubes and water. He is literally living the dream. Except one thing, Buddy has no will to do anything on his own. I'm doing everything for him, so therefore Buddy is not really living. There's no hidden message in this, by the way. Just Buddy, Paisley is having a blast. Going out there, and Wyatt's having a blast. Pet cow. That's not Chinese. That's the whole thing. But he loves petting the cow. And so I'll go out there and I'll put food in front of Buddy, and he kicks it away. I put water in front of him. He dumps it over. I set him up, and he kicks and throws a fit until he gets in a bind and cannot move anymore. And so I think Buddy just has a problem. He does not hunger and thirst after righteousness. While he'll eat if it's there, when I set it before him, he's not worried about the food. He kicks it over every time. Just like when a word is given to us by the man of God or something, we have something that goes against it. I don't want it. I'm in a bind that I need help, but I don't want that. I'm in a bind where I need you to speak to my situation, but I want you to speak what I want you to speak. I don't want that. And Buddy is on that line, walking the line between life and death, trying to survive or trying to figure out if he wants to survive. And the one person who is out there trying to lift him up and help him survive, he is kicking away the food that I am giving him. He's dumping over the water I am placing in front of him. And I've done it every which way I could think, and I've tried to feed him every which different thing and try to make it as tasteful and it smells as good where my dogs try to eat it. But Buddy won't touch it. Buddy is confident. He is comfortable just living life every day, waking up barely alive, someone coming and picking him up to his feet and then putting food out for him to eat a little bit, to throwing a temper tantrum, to kicking it back over to go lay back down to try to die again. Well, that sounds like people. The more I'm around people, the more I can relate people to cows. They have personalities, which explains why Bishop always said, if you want to preach to people, you go preach to a herd of cows. If they respond, then you can preach to people. I just now picked that together. But Buddy does not try to do anything himself. He doesn't like the way something happens. He doesn't like it, whatever, all because Buddy got a stuck leg. Buddy got in his mind, and while being out there stuck, he probably felt, well, no one's ever going to find me out here. And I don't know if cows really have thoughts like we have thoughts. You know, it might just be moo, and that's the whole sentence they needed. But Buddy might have just been hurting. He might have been in pain. But then now that someone has come to help him out of his situation, he's like, I don't really want you to get me up. I just want you to feel sorry for me and have to give me time of your day and just give me attention. Buddy. I set him up. He throws a fit. He goes down. The Bible says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst. Not blessed are those that need to hunger and thirst. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst. Blessed are those who want more. Blessed are those who, when the door is open, they want more. Blessed are those when the time is available and they are there, they have an opportunity to pray, to read the Bible, they want more. Blessed are those who, when they have the opportunity to witness to somebody, they want to because they want more. They want to be fulfilled. But if you don't have the will, or you're too prideful to accept help, you will never get anywhere. I can't tell you what Buddy's going to do. I can't tell you what his life is. I can tell you where he's at right now. He's swinging on a swing set from Walmart in the back of my yard. And I wonder if Buddy's thinking the same thing that I am. His days are numbered. I don't need a long-term cow. I've got 2 dogs that I don't need. I don't need it. If you can't admit there's something wrong, there is a heart problem. The thing is, Buddy has nothing wrong, except he's got a mindset problem. He won't bend this leg. Now, I can bend Buddy's leg, okay? It sounds ridiculous, but you work with their leg. I can bend Buddy's leg, and I'll bend it up, stretch it down, and it works. I can bend it. There's no bones popping. There's no blood. There's none of this terrible stuff that could happen. It's fine. But Buddy stayed so long with his legs straight that Buddy is afraid to try to walk. I get it. I understand. Sometimes we feel we get down so much, we get hurt so much, we miss church so much. It is hard to take that first step. I've been sick so long that I'm afraid to not be sick. I've been like this so long that I'm afraid to change. I'm afraid to step out. I've been doing this so long that I'm afraid of what it would look like if I made a change. I'm afraid of what it would look like if I actually tried to care. It's a mindset. Meanwhile, if you think about it, just like the cows in the field, they're all going through the same thing. They're all products of the environment they're in. They're all under the same weather. So while Buddy might feel like, man, I'd be embarrassed if I walked again, every one of these others that we lift up, all these others, they get up every time. We picked them up off of whatever. We've given them shots. We've given them medicine. We're doing all these things. Just like that, we feel the same way. Well, it's just me. There's something wrong with me, and nothing wrong with feeling that way, but all of us have been in that way. Well, you know what? It was different because I'm actually hurt. But Buddy won't admit that Buddy won't talk to me, just to clarify that. But I feel like by Buddy's actions, he is speaking to me. You know. And Buddy won't admit to me that there's a problem. Because everything I do to Buddy is fine. He's fine. He's fine. I have put more work into Buddy than I have in any cow in my life. Every day. And Buddy has no reason not to make it. He has no reason not to get up and walk. But he has a problem. Maybe it's in his mind. Sometimes we have a problem and it's in our mind. And because of our mind plays tricks, it goes all the way around. And we know how the rabbit trails we go. And it's kind of like me going through my rabbit trail up here. It's the same way. We get going to that. We let our mind run away of all the bad things that can happen. Next thing you know, you're terrified to go outside. You're terrified to get to put your shoes on. You're terrified of all. I can paint a picture to make you scared to walk outside. Put your shoes on. I can lay it out. I've got a great imagination. And that's what happens. We get it in our mind. But really, it's not even just in our mind, because it starts in our mind, but it grows into our heart and becomes a heart problem. And it becomes a heart problem that won't be fixed by a relationship. A heart problem that won't be fixed by a shopping spree. It can't be fixed with a new car. It can't be fixed with a new phone. But it can't be fixed with a new collar or any kind of bell to put around his neck. He won't be fixed by a new kind of feed. He won't be fixed by us putting shoes on his feet. He won't be fixed by someone giving him another bath or carrying him or giving him more attention or giving him words of encouragement. If I go out there and I'm willing to live every day, it won't fix Buddy's situation, because Buddy has to make up in his mind, I will get through this. You have to make up in your mind of whatever you're going through, I will get through this. I'm going to make it through this. I don't have a clue how, but I am going to survive this. All I got to do is I'm going to take it one step at a time. I'm going to make it one day at a time. I'm going to work for it one day at a time. I'm going to thirst and I'm going to hunger after righteousness one day at a time. But it can't be fixed with a new car. Your problem can't be fixed with a new phone. You're going to have a supernatural experience with the Savior who put his life on the line for you, who, when no one else saw value in you, he said, you know what? I see something worthwhile. I see an investment worth making. I see something worth giving my life for. When the world said, you know what? It's not worth it. They're going to mess you up. They're going to fail you. They're going to drop you off just like everyone. God said, no, I see value here. And so that's the reason you get up and you say, you know what, I will, because you have someone behind you that says, hey, if you will, I will. If you will stand up and make a push, I'm going to be there pushing you. If you will stand up and trust me, I'm going to come through for you. If you will put your faith in me, I'm going to be there for you. If you need someone to lift you, I'll lift you up. You've got to do the work, but I will lift you up. You're hungry, I'll feed you. You're thirsty, I'll give you drink. But you have got to put in the work. And that's the only thing that will fix it, because he saw value and no one else thought you would make it. Everyone else had given up on you. But you have to have the will to surrender. You have to have the will to surrender. Surrender to God. You have the will to become vulnerable, and you have to have the will to let God be God. Musicians, you can come. You can stand with me. I'm almost done. That's one of the hardest things to do, is let go and let God do something. But if you don't have the will, you won't. I love that that scripture we first read, as for me and my house, we will. Somebody was making it known that we are going to have the will to serve the Lord. Regardless of whatever happens, regardless of my environment, regardless of what's going on in my life, I'm going to have the will to survive. We're going to serve God. We're going to make it to heaven. We're going to make it through this. We're going to bring as many people. We're going to be a soul winner. But you have to have the will. You have to have the will to surrender to him, and the will to become vulnerable and let God do what he does best. To survive, you have to have the will. You have to have the I will mindset. The I will. If you walk around with I might, it's not a definite term. I might. Are you going to make it? I might. Not too promising. Are you going to make it? I could. Not too promising. Can you do this for me? Maybe. Can you go here? Can you take care of this? Can I trust you with this part of my life to do something? I think so. That doesn't sound too promising. But if you ask, hey, can you do this for me? And I say, I will. It puts an answer on something saying, I am giving it. I am motivated. I am going to make this happen. I am going to find a way, and I will do this. I will find a way. I will make this happen. I will serve God. But you have to have the I will mindset. I will. I will survive. I will make it. I will be a soul winner. I will be a witness. I will fast. I will pray. I will not give up. I will. Whatever it is, whatever the situation you are, if you put I will in your present and say it to whatever thing you're facing, whatever sickness you're trying to overcome, whatever person you're trying to witness to, whatever predicament you find yourself in, and you think of that situation, you say, I will. You have just ignited something in your mind. You've ignited something in your heart, and in return, you've ignited something in the presence of God, because he sees you dedicated. He sees you being motivated. He sees you actually, you know what? You're actually putting some weight on that leg that's been broken. You're putting some weight on that wound that's been hurt. You're trying to go to where the food is. You're trying to go to where he's put water. You're trying to go to what he's provided for you. And when he sees you putting forth the effort, he says, okay, you did. Now I will. You gave me your situation. Now I will. You said I will try. I will do my best. I will give it all I have. Now he steps in and says, okay, now I will. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to work it, and I'm going to carry it, and I'm going to put my efforts in you. I will do it because you did. Whatever situation you find yourself in tonight, I just want to invite you to the front to make a commitment. Not just for 2023, but for the ongoing future. Say, God, whatever it is, whatever you ask of me, whatever the problem, whatever the situation is, I will. I will. I'm sick. I will get through this. I'm lost. I'm gonna find my way. I'm hurting. I will get better. I'm looking for a job. I will find whatever the situation is you are looking for your life. Whatever things you're trying to survive. I will. Can somebody commit to the I will tonight? I will. I will. Because I know that when I will, God says, I'm going to see that, and I'm going to turn your will